Yo,
what's up?
Hey. No Jason today. So we get to talk about whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
We get to talk about Jason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you believe that guy?
Yeah.
What a nice guy. I mean, like,
he's the best.
Absolutely.
Well, at 7:30, we'll tell you what we actually think.
He's not here, so I can just say how much I don't care about Cobra Kai.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
But I'm glad you like it, Jay. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So how's everybody doing? How are things?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I found a new card game. Found a new card game. It's called Grand Archive. It's anime card game. There is a bit of like big titty anime chick to it, like so it's like, you know, it's not super cringe, but like it's there, you know, like the waifu is there.
That makes sense.
It's a cultural thing.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's more of like it's a dude thing too, but it's a cultural thing for Japan.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I'm digging that. I'm kind of learning my way around that, and the new Magic set dropped. So I'm hoping that's going to be more fun than it looks on the outside. It
won't be
the Hasbro Clue tie-in, so it's like a murder mystery set. And there are cards like Lead Pipe and Candlestick and stuff like that. So
there should just be a card that's like flames on the side of my face.
That's incredible.
It's coming.
That's coming. Like the One Ring card from the Lord of the Rings set. Like,
Post Malone will buy it too. Yeah.
One of one, flames on the side of my face.
I picked this up on the recommendation of my imaginary conversation with you guys because I thought one of you recommended this title.
You incepted yourself.
I incepted myself into thinking one of you said, "Hey, this book's good. You should read it." And I was like, "Yeah." So I picked up the 4-issue miniseries Spine-Tingling Spider-Man. And yeah, I was saying it's like horror meets Spider-Man, but well within the world of Spider-Man. So
were you right? Was it good?
It is good. It's interesting. It's an interesting like premise, just putting Spider-Man basically in like a nightmare that's nonstop. He goes to the Amityville house at one point. Like it's not the Amityville house, but it clearly is the Amityville house.
Yeah.
The reveal of what's going on is a little lackluster. I was kind of like, oh, okay, but otherwise, fun ride until the reveal, which is usually the case.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about it real quick. Sad news, and it's kind of what we're named after the show. Carl Weathers passed. Apollo Creed, Chubbs, 1,000 other roles that I'm kind of forgetting at the top of my head.
Who was he? He wasn't Dutch in Predator. Who was he in Predator?
No, he wasn't.
I just know him as blank. You son of a bitch. And then
all right.
He was Dylan.
Dylan. That's right. Because Arnold's always like Dylan. Right.
I loved that guy. He was one of my
awesome.
favorite like actors. Like Rocky was my favorite person in. Like when he first died, it was crushing. Like I was so surprised. Creed series wouldn't happen without that character. I don't know. Chubbs. Happy Gilmore. Holy cow! I got you. I got your hand back.
I got his head. He got your hand. I got his head. Oh man.
Did you see Stallone's tribute on?
Did not.
Social. He posted a brief video about it, and like when he like Stallone was close to crying. You could tell like he's like, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna cry. We gotta hold it together here. But it was actually really touching and beautiful. Like he admitted, like there's no Rocky without Carl Weathers.
No, I mean, he's basically playing Muhammad Ali, and you know, like he sold it, and then he was fully that character, and just like, it was like the Rocky isn't the same without him, and he was such a great asshole. Also, like this is, hey, I'm the heavyweight champion. Like and he like, I mean, that dude, he's standing next to fully cut Rocky, like. Let's go, you know, like that's not easy. And then also like standing next to Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the handshake that rocked the world, like the beefiest handshaking film to date.
Do we want to watch? It's only a minute long. Do you guys want to watch the tribute thing for?
Sure.
Okay. I'd love to I'd love to blubber here.
I enjoyed crying with friends.
Also, the thing about Carl Weathers, he directed too. He did some Mandalorian episodes and stuff, right?
Yes, he did.
Fight Hub TV is where I found it. I don't know if it's
sure.
Can you guys hear it? Oh, there we go.
For me, I mean, I'm so torn up. I can't even tell you. I'm just trying to hold it in because Carl Weathers was such an integral part of my life, my success, everything about it. I give him incredible credit and kudos because when he walked into that room and I saw him for the first time, I saw greatness, but I didn't realize how great. I never could have accomplished what we did with Rocky without him. He was absolutely brilliant. His voice, his size, his power, his athletic ability, but more importantly, his heart, his soul. It's a horrible loss. And I'm standing here in front of this painting because it was probably the last moment we were ever in the ring together, and I'll never forget it. He was magic. And I was so fortunate to be part of his life. So, Apollo, keep punch.
That was sweet.
Yeah. That's he's an old guy, and they pass, and that's the thing. It sucks, and he will be missed. And then like the Mandalorians is going to be a little worse off without him. And it's like,
are they still continuing that, or is it?
There's a movie.
That's a good question. Yeah,
there's a movie, right?
I thought they were like shifting focus to what's her face, Katie Sackhoff or something. That's what I.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Like they can still make Mandalorian. It'll just be a different Mandalorian.
Yeah, just different mask.
I thought there was going to be like a Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Oh, maybe.
Woo.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Anyways, it'll be less spectacular if Carl Weathers isn't there because as Sly said, he hypens up a lot of the stuff he was in. So
it sucks. It sucks. Yeah. What did he die from? I just heard that he died. I don't even know what he died from.
I'm not sure they've released it yet. They might have. Cause of
crack research.
I know. I'm googling it.
I mean, it is.
He was actually fighting a predator out in the jungle. The predator got him.
I mean,
the final hunt.
What's that?
No. You're sorry.
Oh,
I was just joking.
I thought you were saying the actual cause.
No.
I mean, what a way to go and going down like a badass against a predator if that was a real thing.
Yeah, there are worse ways. I'm sorry. I'm looking.
I don't know that there are worse ways.
It says died peacefully at home. No cause of death was available.
Might have just been his time then.
Yeah, it was a good run. You can't say that the man didn't do a lot.
Yeah,
so.
What a life, Right?
Yeah.
What a life.
Yep.
What a career. What a legacy.
But not going out to a predator, wild badass would be terrible. No, I would not want that at all.
The fact that you're
one of the top 10 shittiest ways to go out.
I mean, it depends, I guess. If it's a straightforward predator takes you out nice and clean, then fine. If it's one of the ways the net that just keeps tightening, or what's his name, Bill Duke, who. Also, I believe R.I.P. But Bill Duke, he got his head shot off or something.
Yeah, so didn't see it coming. Didn't. Yeah, so that wouldn't be too bad. That wouldn't be too bad at all. But man,
probably the net and the way Billy goes in the movie because Billy gets his spine ripped out. So he gets fatality. It's
knowing my thumb is probably gonna be dangling from a necklace that Predator has for the rest of his life.
If you get gutted by those, get the full Wolverine treatment. No, thank you.
So in retrospect, maybe dying peacefully in your sleep is
not so bad.
I will take that 10
I'll
times
take that.
out of 10.
I'll take that. Upon further reflection, I'll take living a good, long, productive, healthy life, and then just going into that good night quietly. I'll take that.
For sure. For sure.
Oh my goodness.
Well, rest in peace, Carl.
Yeah, R.I.P. Carl. Thank you for everything, sir.
Ooh, Xbox achievement?
I think so. I've yet to hear anything bad about him.
All right.
Have we not given an Xbox achievement to somebody who passed away?
This is the first one this year.
Okay.
We've given. I think we've given away like 3 total. Unfortunately.
I mean, because we don't really eulogize the people who end up turning out to be assholes. So.
That's also true.
I think Xbox achievement is warranted.
I wish we had a graphic. We probably get copyrighted on that, so it's fine.
Microsoft would probably find us.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Right. You got it.
Well, in that case, let's go the Sony route. Let's just find trophy unlocked.
That's it. Yeah. Should have not litigious. Cool. Rest in peace. Does anyone else have anything before we jump into kind of? I've been mulling this over the past day or so about a topic here around.
Okay. Mulling
it over around. What do you guys want to see in terms of historical TV or movies kind of brought back to life in like current day? So I bring this up because I read an article where Wedding Crashers 2 is thinking about happening. It's been 20 years apart now, which I hate that idea. Is there anything
historical comedy?
Right. Yes. Is there anything you would like to see though brought back? Like, is there any like dust off, maybe like a Firefly or something? Like you want to dust it off, like to see it again, or make sure it stays dead. Like
this is a good topic, but it's also kind of hard in the moment to think about, just because it's like I wouldn't really know until I see something or hear something about the direction they'd go. Like,
well, even and it's like I can't. Like, some of the things that pop into mind, like some of the attempts that they made, like they tried to do the anime version of Thundercats. Not so recently, but like it was, it was like, hey, like let's dust this off, and I was like, wow, I really wish they hadn't done that. Like, it started off real strong, and then like takes this hard left turn. What would I like to see?
I mean, it kind of depends when you're saying like historical, like TV or historical.
Well, I was thinking
movies.
like which one, like Hitchcock, they bring back. Like, there's that whole like. The Fall of House of Usher, right? Like they kind of reimagined Edgar Allan Poe into like the real, like the
but
is there stuff like you want to say that?
That was also kind of its own thing too, because it was a lot of Poe stuff just combined, and it was his own original premise, just absolutely like lifting and utilizing elements of Poe's literature just all together, as opposed to like here's just a straightforward House of Usher adaptation, or here's a straightforward Telltale Heart. I don't know, like in terms of like IP stuff, like it's gonna happen anyways, but like a lot of the nostalgic IP always finds its way back around. Like you said, Thundercats, like Masters of the Universe is back.
That was
in like 2 different forms too.
Yeah, the one with Mark Hamill voicing Skeletor, I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, they just released the second season of it, I think.
It wasn't great, but it also wasn't terrible. So like it was just okay, but I was glad for I was like, all right, hey, like it's much better than the 80s cartoon because it's not hyper cringe and nigh unwatchable.
Right.
So yeah, like that was a really good comeback.
And like I don't know, like you were saying, Justin, Wedding Crashers. When it comes to what I feel are like one and done ideas, there's no point to do a 20 years later Wedding Crashers soft reboot or remake or whatever. Like there's no appeal there for me personally.
The only thing is, like, if they have a good idea, if and they probably don't, but like if they're like, okay, hey, haha, like I just thought about this Wedding Crashers thing, and like it snowballed into something like hilarious. And they absolutely acknowledge the 20 years passing. If it's not just like a National Lampoon straight to DVD freaking remake of Wedding Crashers with young people, like I will hope for something where they're like, okay, we see that nobody wants this, but this could be funny, like
or like Blade Runner, for example.
Yeah, they did great.
Where I don't know, the premise is really compelling in my opinion, and it left a lot of interesting questions up in the air that for a while I was like, okay, I'll never get the answers to these questions, but I'm happy with what we got. And then we get 2049, which answers some questions while posing new ones and keeps it compelling and interesting and finds a way to work in older stuff like Harrison Ford and what happened in the first movie. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't asking for this, but I'm glad it exists. And then he got the Ghostbuster stuff, which I'm like, why?
Let's think it over, fellas. Let's think this over.
And to me, there's a section too of stuff that missed their window, because like you think of Anchorman 2. I feel like they had an opportunity for that to be good or fun or in the right time frame, but they waited too long.
Sure.
Or what else was I thinking about?
The last Indiana Jones movie.
Last Indiana, maybe. Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
So. I haven't seen it either. I'm just taking a jab.
Yeah. People have started to really enjoy that one. They started like Tim really enjoyed it. He brought it up, but
but Tim is such a hardcore fanboy for the thing that he's a fanboy
if he loves it, he loves it.
And like he sees no faults. He sees no faults at all.
One thing I've kind of been noticing every once in a while, the past especially like past 2 or 3 years, is sort of a steady decline in the whole doing this for the nostalgia thing, like the diminishing returns on stuff like that. Where, this past year we've had a ton of either original ideas or new IP that we never saw on the big screen before, like blow things out of the water. Like the fact, I'm still kind of mesmerized that a biopic about the dude who made the atom bomb and a Barbie movie are like the two biggest things in comparison to like all the repetitive Marvel DC stuff that came out, the year in the same year.
So. I mean, and I would also, I think we should also acknowledge the giant bear doing cocaine in the room. That's
the giant cocaine bear that you love so much.
I loved it too.
There's one of those that I never thought I would ever need, but I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for doing. I would like to see another 20 to 30 year halt on Star Wars.
Yeah, that's fair.
I need another hard break like that. I think to get back into it.
A unique idea that's so unique that takes you it brings back that sense of that first movie.
Yeah, but they should spend at least 7 years doing it.
Sure. Avatar the shit out of it, right? Let's really, really think about it. Yeah.
That's another thing too, like Avatar, where I saw the first one back in 2009. I'm like, okay, it's fun for what it is. I don't know if I really need another one of these. And it came back, and I was kind of 50-50 on it, where it was like, I mean, technically, it's a really impressive movie to look at.
Visually spectacular.
I don't have a desire to see any more, really, because I'm like, yeah, world's fun for the 2 hours I spent in it prior. I don't need another 2 to 3 hours.
And also, it's like, if I want to watch, you can watch BBC documentaries where they show you whales and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's real stuff,
right? It looks just as good.
Yeah. Oh my god, I saw a viral clip of a blue whale surfacing in scale to a boat, and I'm just I'm floored by that stuff. I'm floored by stuff that's in reality.
They are so big.
It's big.
I have this inherent mistrust of the ocean, just because, everything's in there. We have no idea.
It's scary.
What it is.
Yeah.
And they're all just pissing and shitting.
Have you ever went whale watching? Because I saw a pod of orcas before, and that was intimidating. I can't imagine a blue whale. I can't imagine something way bigger.
Well, I mean, blue whales, in comparison to probably orcas, if you get hurt by a blue whale, it's just because it's so goddamn big. And
orcas are murdering you.
Orcas will go out of their way to fuck you up. They'll go out of their way to mess you up.
Freaking the blue whale probably didn't even know you were there. And the orca was like, hey, bro, fuck you.
Specifically. I saw it with my cousin at SeaWorld.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, my goodness.
When you posted the topic in the chat, I was thinking about this, and I keep coming back to this one, especially Ghostbusters, where it was when we were young, growing up, we had Ghostbusters 1 and 2. So we weren't really living in the zeitgeist of people who might have been do we need a Ghostbusters 2 or whatever? And, obviously I enjoyed Ghostbusters 2 clearly for the nostalgia more than anything else, because I think it's fine, but I wondered what adult audiences would be during that time when it came out, where they clearly this is unnecessary.
And I would enjoy a Ghostbuster film, but if they were they made it more horror horror comedy, like, you know, because
that would be a fun twist.
Yeah, you know, like, and I think I could deal with a Ghostbusters that was different in that way, because you're never gonna recapture what they were doing with the Ghostbusters,
right.
But like the idea of guys fighting, you know, like ghost exterminators fighting ghosts is still kind of cool, you know. And obviously, you know, like visual with the proton packs is super cool. So like it doesn't have to go away, but like you're definitely not ever going to hit
the same highs
that,
as the
yeah, like you can't capture that same lightning in the bottle,
and I guess
and that's okay, you know, like there's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but like to keep trying to go to that well when it's dry is a mistake.
And I think that it just depends on the product or the world or characters that you're trying to come back to. Is that like, are they worth coming back to? Because for me, Ghostbusters and a little bit of Ghostbusters 2, again, just for a little bit of the nostalgia stuff, it's like that was really the lightning in the bottle thing. I've mentioned this on the podcast many times, I'm sure. I never saw the point in making Ghostbusters a franchise. Mm-hmm. Like I know the cartoon and the toys and stuff like that. That's why it is a franchise, and that's why it probably has more longevity than just, oh, I remember the '84 movie. But like remaking it in 2016, doing the thing, what was it, Afterlife?
Yeah. Yep.
That was the most recent one up until this one that's coming out, where it's pure. Afterlife is barely funny. It's purely like a whole. It's all
nostalgic.
Remember this and how like epic and mythic this apparently is, when that is the complete antithesis of Ghostbusters.
But also, it's like if in New York City ghosts start popping out all over the place, like
people would remember that.
New York City, like it would be like how is it like everyone's always so skeptical that ghosts exist when they obviously exist in this place?
They do it in the trailer for this newer one. Peck is back, I think, as the mayor or whatever, and he's like, those scam artists from 40 years ago. I mean, no eyewitnesses to whatever the hell happened on that building where there was a giant marshmallow man. Like, how is this still all hearsay? You have people who lived through it, who have lived through it 3 times at this point.
Do you remember that one time that those dudes made the Statue of Liberty walk through the city and then bash in a museum while we were all singing the freaking New Year's Eve song? Like, nobody recalls this? Like,
that's the other aspect of, I think, coming back to franchises, or, you know, like you said, coming back to what we consider to be historical movies and revitalizing them, is like what stays canon and what doesn't. Like, is it just going to be a complete wipe the slate clean reboot and you're building the mythos or the idea from the ground up? Or is it like, no, everything that came before, canon? Because that's the thing. A lot of people are thinking, like, why is everyone still so skeptical in these new movies? Like, did they just wipe out the existence of 2?
Right.
Yeah, or like even wipe out the existence of 1? Because it's like, how could you possibly be skeptical when the giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man blew up in the city?
Like, but most importantly, are we going to actually laugh in these movies? Because
I mean, and you know, again, like if you're not having like comedic genius, like get together in a room to do this, then no, like we're probably not gonna
I kind of got it with Afterlife a little bit. You know, Jason Reitman is the late Ivan Reitman's kid. He grew up with those people around probably, and wanted to make a send off for one of Reitman's collaborators, Harold Ramis. Oh, which by the way, we're supposed to talk about, like, it's officially Groundhog Day, or Harold Ramis Day. February 2nd is officially Harold Ramis Day because of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, all right.
But like,
because global warming kind of killed Groundhog Day. So
pretty much. Winter? What?
El Nino.
Spanish for the Nino. But yeah, this whole idea of like the reverential tone that these new Ghostbusters movies have for the '84 movie, which was anything but reverential. Like, it did not. Bill Murray does not take anything seriously in there, other than like, I need to get with women. Dan Aykroyd is just fanboying about everything, like he probably does in real life about supernatural stuff. And Harold Ramis is just like stoic. You can't tell if anything gets to him until the very end of the film.
Like the whole time,
And like you said, Max, that's the magic of that movie, in that like you can't really replicate that too much, especially now in a world where it's like, oh, these things are going to happen all the time. But just with Paul Rudd, who plays Paul Rudd,
right,
and these kids, and the Stranger Things kid is there, so you'll buy him being in this because he's around Stranger Things all the time.
Right.
So it's like, it just doesn't have the same kind of panache for me. And again, it takes on this really reverential, almost like Spielberg-like tone, where it's like you have to have a fondness and an affection for everything that came before here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, like other than because freaking not that which Harold Ramis's character? Which one was that?
Egon,
yeah. Right? Egon is playing with stuff that like no person should be tinkering. He's got like plutonium and stuff like like that he uses to make this things, but like. If after like the Ghostbusters save New York fucking City for the second time, then everyone's like, you know what? Ghosts exist, and this is a problem that we need. So like now there's like a department of the Ghostbusters, like and like they are like going through the sewers and doing like all this like just random stuff where ghosts will pop up.
Okay,
that would be the movie I'd want to see.
I just realized something. And I'll play the devil's advocate for this franchise that I'm gnawing at. But aside, like, let's exclude stuff like the toys and the cartoon, where the whole point of the cartoon is every week there's a new ghost threat or whatever that you need to confront. That's the cartoon. It's its own separate thing. But like in terms of the films, the way I understand it now is like ghosts don't really occur. They're kind of like the calm before the storm, or the herald of the storm and stuff. Like when something really big is on the horizon, that's when all the weird shit starts happening. Like it's not a regular kind of occurrence. Like you don't see these creatures or anything like that until
unless
like it's on the
is coming.
Unless Zool or what was his name, Vigo the Carpathian or whatever. Unless something really big is on the horizon.
Right.
So in the universe of those films, okay, maybe nothing really big was on the horizon to threaten the world for like 30 years, so it kind of just fit. But again, like you said, Max, there's TV footage of them fighting a Marshmallow Man, I'm sure, somewhere. Like
TV footage of the Statue of Liberty walking
through the streets, yeah.
the actual, like, I mean, like, we don't even discuss how it got back.
Yeah.
Like, did they just put it back? Like,
it was back. It was back at the end of the movie, like when they're thanking them. It's
yeah. So they just put it back.
They just took the joystick and walked it back.
Right, and I mean, and that's cool, So like, sure, like for the storytelling, but also like, there's no way you don't know that they're walking the Statue of Liberty back.
Right.
Like they're gonna close some streets down. They're gonna it's gonna be a weird day in New York City.
It's gonna be a weird afternoon
when they walk the Statue of
Liberty. It's literally
back.
In the song when there's something strange in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Who you gonna call?
Who are you gonna call?
Yeah,
not me.
And it's like, but like even like you're saying, like okay, like the ghosts. They'll die down when it's a more calm time, but it's like the spiritual energy ramps up when something big is coming. Like they are aware of the cycle of it, and that they like like you're saying, like the mayor's like, mayor, those guys are scam artists. It's like, no, mayor, like you're gonna be the mayor who's on top of this situation, so we don't have to have giant freaking marshmallow men walking through the city. Or when the marshmallow man does walk through the city, there's something we can do. Like it's just,
now they got little marshmallow men.
Oh. Yeah.
I
love the little Stay Puffs. Like those guys are awesome.
Yeah, agreed. So this reminded, to me, like that, this would be a fun franchise to expand into. Like, what's that whole like numbered alien or monster thing? Like, you could do that whole. You know, talking about the.
Yeah. My kid watches that. I don't know exactly what it's called, but he's like, you don't know about number 83?
Yeah, like every monster has a number. No,
it's like a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it's not a show, but people like there's a whole mythos behind it. There's books and things like that, YouTube videos.
So it's sort of like cryptids, but it's like more than that.
See, that's something I would be interested in seeing like multiple movies about is ideas or concepts that have been shown before, but just kind of recontextualized in a different, like not necessarily like we need exactly these same characters or this same story. But like, here, I'm wearing a shirt for him, Mothman. There was a Mothman movie back in the early 2000s. it's insane and complete bullshit. Yeah, I would love to see an actual like accurate, according to all the weird testimonies out there in Point Pleasant, like Mothman movie. I would love to see a cryptid movie about that.
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Or like I was thinking this idea of, we showed like the Roadhouse trailer. What was it? Last week or 2 weeks ago?
One that like just definitely didn't need to happen at all.
It didn't need to happen, but I watched Roadhouse like years and years ago. Barely remember much about it, but it's a concept that's kind of like, you know what? Doesn't have to necessarily be 100% exactly the same character or plot. I think he has the same last name as Swayze's character, but that's probably where the differences, start.
Yeah, like
who cares? Because it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal looks fun. It's gonna be great.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, man, it's like, again, like, just make it good. Like, I don't care what you're bringing back, just make it good. Don't bring it back for nothing, and I'm gonna be down. It's like, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. But I'm trying to, in addition to this question, kind of an add-on. Is there a medium you would be okay with them continuing? Like, if it pivoted from movies into like comics or books or TV, like, would you be more okay with them flooding it with that, or changing and tailoring it to that medium?
I don't want to be flooded with anything.
I bring this up
because,
poor choice of words, but I bring it up for Indiana Jones, as I think they're making video games now to continue that lore. Does that bother you? Do you think that's cool, or do you think like it's whatever?
The only thing I care about, the only thing I care about is quality. Like, don't make something that's just trying to take my money. Yeah. I'm so sick of that I could scream. Like I just, or it's even this Bob Marley movie that's coming out.
I'm actually kind of excited for it. Does that suck? Is it going to suck? I've always seen one trailer for it.
Look, my parents are Jamaican.
Yeah.
I'm going to hate that movie.
Why are you going to hate it? Because it's not going to be true to the source, or
because it's this whitewashed, Disneyfied version of the man. Yeah. And like, he's a great musician, super influential, obviously, but like, that doesn't mean that he was necessarily a good person,
right?
And if it was gonna be more like Ray, where you kind of saw like a little of the bad side of like how he's just not a good dude, but like just capable of this music, that that would be one thing. But also that they didn't hire a lot of Jamaicans to be in that movie. And I understand about like, hey, like, it's acting, so you should get actors to do it. But like, Bob Marley was about these people, and if this is a legacy movie, you should have held more to his legacy and brought some Jamaicans up, because that's what he was trying to do. And I feel like they missed a lot on that, and I know his son like signed off on it, but I don't know how big the check was.
That's also
I would say yes to a lot of things if the check's big enough.
When it comes to the biopic angle of like coming back to, say, historical figures, or relevant people in pop culture and so forth, is like, how much of a say-so on the image of that person is handled by the actual estate or the family, or are they directly producers? Like,
it's like the Queen movie, and it's like, he might have been a little gay,
He wasn't the true genius behind all that stuff.
Yeah, surely the
Brian
man had
May,
more to
you
say.
mother. Speaking of Marley, have you heard the new song that his grandson put out?
No, I haven't heard anything new recently. But
I thought it was pretty good. It's because his grandson and it's Lauryn Hill's his mom, I think, or something.
Well, his son makes music too, right? So like the whole
a lot of his family makes.
Like, okay, well, like, again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, a quote. Let me directly quote Bob Marley. Okay, one king, many queens. Okay.
Yep.
A lot of babies is what you're telling me.
I mean, like, he took care of his family.
A multitude of Marleys.
He took care of his family, but he has a very large family, and a lot of them make music. I mean, Ziggy Marley, Damian Marley, like, there's a lot of musicians in the Marley family. And it's just like, that's like tell this. I feel like now we need to start getting to telling the actual stories of the people as they were and be as accurate as we can. Like, we don't need to see this like everyone
was having a great time.
Yeah, like no, there's more to it than that. There's a lot more to it, and that's more interesting.
Well, more relatable because none of us are perfect.
Yeah. I know you're in the right on this, Max, but if any studio execs are out there actually listening to this podcast, you know what lesson they're taking away from this is, many Marleys. Many Marley biopics. Next, we're gonna have the Bob one, the Ziggy one.
Yes, and then it's like they're all like singing the freaking Sound of Music together, like
everything.
Jamaican Von Trapp family.
Yes.
Just many queens.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness!
I'm so sorry we threw that out there now.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I'm just like, man, you could. There's better storytelling. Like, try, okay, just try, and because again, like, look at Ray. That movie, and again, and I'm sure like that didn't even go into like how bad the dude was, but like at least you knew like he wasn't squeaky clean. Like, oh, I'm just a blind singer and everything's cool. Like, yeah, I'm glad they didn't make that movie, but still, like make the movie, like tell the real story. Like, I want to know what's up, not this like Disney crap.
A more recent one too is the fact that there have been 2 movies tied to Elvis within the span of a year. You had Elvis, which was insane. Like, as a movie, I'm like, this is overstimulating, and I love it. Historically accurate. And then you have Priscilla from Sofia Coppola, which has their own maybe more grounded, more realistic take on Elvis, but he's not a main, he's a main focus, but not like the main character, because obviously it's Priscilla. But like, it's interesting that you have within the span of just a year, you have these 2 drastically different movies that came out centered around the same person, and they could have like these wild takes, but then also have these really subdued takes, and there's an audience for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. But like, my other problem is, and again, like, this might just be because like I'm Jamaican, we'll call it that. All the songs that are going to be in that Bob Marley movie, you can find on the Legend album. I will bet you my new house that they do not play one song that is not on the Legend album. And Bob Marley has made so much more music than that. And like, they made the Legend album. Who picked that list? Who picked that list of songs? Because that's not Bob Marley's best songs. Like,
did that album come out after he died? So
yes, it did.
Okay.
It's a greatest hits.
Okay.
But I'm like, who decided? Who got to decide that these were?
Hopefully his family. Family.
Record company.
Speaking of families, getting involved in the Christopher Reeve biopic, or not biopic, but the Christopher Reeve documentary. Guess who picked it up? Warner Brothers.
Oh shoot!
The people who paraded around his CGI deepfake corpse in the Flash get to own the rights to his documentary, which I'm sure will be all about like, oh yeah, no problems at all.
What's about whitewashing?
Superman. Yeah,
that's gonna be
no problems at all with loving the Superman legacy stuff. It didn't pigeonhole him into a acting choices. Or like that.
No, it was all good. He loved it.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did love it because he was a class. I'm sure he was, for the most part, a class act. Well, again, we don't really know. We didn't know the guy, but from all accounts, he seemed like a class act. And
probably we're not going to get to know any better.
We're not going to get the gritty nitty on that. So we might not even see the movie because Zaslav might be like, tax write-off.
You know what? No one needs to see this. I need the break on the back end.
So I'm just thinking about this. We talked mainly about movies, but does television hold the same weight? Like, would you want to see another like Bob Ross painting show? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, would you want to jump into that?
Oh, like in the style of Bob Ross?
Yeah, like, because they did try on YouTube to reboot that. They have a guy that, if you go to his YouTube channel, there's like 4 or 5 videos of a dude and got the blessing of that corporation, right? Because it's not even owned by the family anymore.
It doesn't. The Bob Ross corporate that needs to go. Like that's
I agree.
Just like trading off the Bob Ross names. And like they sucked the lifeblood out of that dude and then let him die. Like that was like no, those people suck. But like I have watched it's actually spray paint art. Okay. But I'll watch some lives of people doing spray paint art and it's the same feel. You know, it's just like, hey, like we're just talking, we're gonna put this little thing here and kind of like teaching you how to do spray paint art. And I was like, this is dope. Like I
inspired by.
Yes, like Bob Ross is definitely like the OG, but I'm like, it might just be a thing. Like so
right. Well, again, that idea of like the concept is the thing that kind of carries over, but you can do a lot based on just concept that's drastically different from what came before. Mm-hmm. And also the idea of like TV too, because it's like honestly, I sometimes just watch people do drawing tutorials on YouTube. I'm kind of like, I'm glad I got this on YouTube because this would be like you get a commercial break in the middle at some point you still get commercials on YouTube, but not for those types of videos typically. But it's like, yeah, it depends on TV as well because like they're doing it. Like Night Court is back for some reason.
Matlock, the lady version of Matlock, right? Like that came back. But
I know someone who's on the podcast who's not here right now who
love to talk about that.
Love to talk about that. Watch Matt talk, everybody.
I would love to see a Friends with black people in it. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a road less traveled, Max. You're not
and what actual New York apartments look like?
Yeah, like tiny, like it's like 8 people crammed into this closet, like trying to hang out.
No kidding.
A studio apartment.
I still remember. So when my first job here in Columbus, I was talking to a guy and he says his niece lived in New York and she lived in Manhattan. She said she had to have 4 roommates in a 1-bedroom apartment just to survive in Manhattan. I can't imagine what that even looked like to have 4 humans in a 1-bedroom apartment.
It's basically dorms again.
Like I was in the Marines and it was only the Marine Corps was only slightly worse than New York.
Okay, I think we've talked about that a lot. Any other kind of call-outs for that? That's kind of a topic I've thought about the past couple of days. Like it feels like we're evolving stuff.
Yeah, no, like I just wish that we could get to a point where we demanded more quality, like because like, we've had so much like just this like basic crap that like I'm like okay, hey, we can do basic crap, but we could also do good stuff and. Because I'm like when you look at like low budget stuff that's like really really good, you're like as long as you get the right people in charge, like it doesn't have to cost that much money. It does, like we can do this like working, like I would wish we would see just more quality stuff. I don't need to bring anything back. I just need stuff to be good.
The problem is that the historical thing about this is the companies always take away the wrong lessons in that they will not care about necessarily quality, but just like they see a certain type of thing is trending and they will push it and beat it into the ground because they're going like, we got to milk this for what it's worth while it's still hot.
Right.
They're flying off the shelves like hotcakes. We got to beat that competition.
It happened with reality shows. It's still happening to some degree with reality shows. It's happening with like
the fantasy, like Harry Potter. Like after that, like all of the books got made into movies, like Aragon and all that like crap. It's
that
just like
Percy. I hear nonstop about that new Percy Jackson.
I heard it's good
series, and I'm like, good if it's good, but at the same time, I'm like, was there really such a huge demand for Percy? Like they had like 2 films back in like the 2010s, right?
Right, but they were awful.
I mean, I know it's a book series.
God awful.
I know it's a book series too, but it's like
I don't know. Like, if the book series was solid, then sure. Like, let's make it. Again, if we're gonna do it well, then let's do it. But if we're just gonna do that same thing they did in 2010, like why? Nobody wants this.
I mean, ultimately, it's because a lot of these companies they have IP, they have these brand names that they're like, we're not using them. We need to at some point. Otherwise, we lose the rights to them, and someone else gets to do something.
But
with them.
Look at like Creed. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's really asking for the Creed story, but when you got somebody who loved, who had a deep passion for the material, and it was like, okay, I can tell a story from this. You know, like it turns out so good. It's just so well done. And you can't help but like, you know, and it's like, all right. Like I didn't know I wanted to hear the Son of Creed story, but I do. Like, so yeah, like I just need I need quality. I just need quality. I'm screaming into the void for quality.
And I guess the ultimate lesson is that we don't necessarily 100% know if that quality is going to arrive until we actually see it out there.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too. Companies are good about getting people hyped for stuff that could go one way or the other.
Oh, and it's just like with the Bob Marley, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this Bob Marley movie is coming out. And Justin, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this Bob Marley movie is coming out.
Yeah, different perspectes though. I don't have any ties to Jamaica.
For sure. But like
what?
Actually, like one of my favorite TikToks like I've ever watched was this white Jamaican dude. Like this dude is fully Jamaican, and like I've shown my parents he passes the Jamaican test. Like, but he's like, nobody believes that I'm actually Jamaican. And then, you know, like I'm talking to my parents, and they're like, dude, I knew a Chinese Jamaican guy who was like fully Jamaican, but like Chinese as hell, and like you know. But so yeah, hey, you know, you could be, Justin. You could be.
That's true. Could you imagine, like, I just train all week just to have a random Jamaican word pop up? Like, surprise!
Man, you are deep in this Ohio dude character that you've developed.
That's right. I'm in.
That would be great. I would have to introduce you to my parents right away. Just like, look,
this guy. Just tell them
this guy had me.
One word. He got one word.
Well, like, for example, like, and I know this is one of the most obvious like go-tos, and apologies to Tim and other super fans out there, but like Star Wars, they come back with a teaser for what was it, Force Awakens, and you know it gets people hyped. They're like, wow, this feels like a true return to form. And then you see it, and you're like, it was a true return to form. Maybe, you know, kind of relying on a lot of nostalgia to really drive it through.
Too much return.
But I was okay. But that's the thing. It's like my old perspective. It's like I was okay going back to that. I was like, okay, that's fine. Let's return to it. Oh wow, you took a big risk getting rid of that dude. Yeah. I don't know why I'm concealing spoilers for. Yeah, Han Solo's dead. Oh my gosh. But then my excitement began to diminish when it's like, okay, every 2 years we're gonna have a new one of these. Oh, and there's TV shows come. Oh, and more cartoons, and they're all connected now. So like, you got to keep up on the whole Star Wars story. Oh,
yeah.
Like you said, it's
overkill. It's not a galaxy we're talking about. You know,
it's one family. That's the whole bummer. It's one family,
and it's just like this is. Do you understand how big a galaxy is? Like,
there's so many. Yeah, we've talked about this before, but I'm in total agreement with Max. Like, there's so many cool stories and so much freedom that you could tell. Like, you have the Force you could play with. You could talk about a whole thousands of other families and stories and things like that. They're not family related.
That's what I was saying.
You just don't.
That Star Wars anime series that I saw like the shorts of, that actually looked, because they were like taking things in weird directions with that. Like there was a total like samurai Jedi kind of riff.
That'd be fun.
Like, cool. And it had nothing to do with Skywalkers or anything like that. It was just like its own little thing. I'm like, set in this corner of the galaxy. Yeah, you tell stories that haven't been told before, but you have this background already set up in this universe that you can play with. But they're always coming back to like, well, here's what everyone's tried and true comfortable with.
Yeah.
People it's just... Sometimes you have to let audiences be uncomfortable with new things.
Because like, how are they going to know if they like it if you don't let them? Like, you got to taste it.
Exactly.
Like, hey, yeah, okay, that food looks a little weird. But like, just try it. You know, like you're not going to die from it. You might like it. Yes. I mean, like Star Wars, they just need to get off of this track that they've been on. It's just like on rails. And yeah, man,
it's become too formulaic. We need original ideas, please, and thank you.
But like that's why I love like Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And like oh my, you're just like, oh okay, like you know, like all these new different things. There were other like the Sith was so much bigger, like all these different things. And I was like, oh wow, like hey, new stuff.
Yeah.
Like no. I mean, like even hey, like if you were gonna do like Tales of Young Yoda, like if we still have to do characters that we know, but like hey, like 700 years ago, this guy was a young Jedi Knight just banging around. Like I'll watch that.
That'd be fun.
I'll watch that.
His journey to becoming a master?
Yeah.
No, I like Max's idea of Yoda just banging around the galaxy.
Yeah. There's a bunch of little Grogu's popping out all over.
Many queens.
For sure. Man, Yoda was a Mac.
Now that's a biopic we can all get behind.
Yeah.
He was already getting behind it.
Oh man. Well, I like that idea because, like, yeah. So I mentioned this earlier, like Spider-Man for me, like this new series feels drastically different from what's going on in the regular continuity of Spider-Man comics, which honestly I haven't kept up with because it's like it just got repetitive. It's just more the same. He's a loser and down on his luck. Here it's like he's still that, but now we're gonna add a bit of a horror element to it. It's something different.
Yeah.
And like the video game that the first Spider-Man PS4 game that came out, like the reason I stay invested in it is because like he's not much of a loser too much in this one. Like he's been around, he's been active for years, and this is about like him being like a little bit more of an adult in this. I'm like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's like the Peter B. Parker character. You know, it's like, oh, and he's just like the loving father, and that's just so different. You know, he's like, oh yeah, he did the loser thing, but like he went back and got the girl, and now he's like he's a father, and you know, he just loves his little girl so much, and she's so fun. Like,
those movies are a perfect way to revisit a franchise in a completely kind of different and stylistic way, because it's like, well, for starters, it's like it's not just Peter, it's Miles, it's a character who's got their own like set of issues, their own background and story that doesn't have to be always the great power, great responsibility thing verbatim, but you know, ultimately you do come back to that. But also you can have fun with it. Let's go to India Spider-Man land. Let's go to 2099.
Dude, I need them to go to Anime Spider-Verse so bad. Like I'm just like, please, giant robot Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean they could take some hints from comic books from that, right? Because like I keep thinking about like Archie versus the Predator or Afterlife with Archie. Like the Archie universe is as bland as it gets, but you have like these side comics that have a lot of fun, like different feels to it.
Well, in a way, that kind of was the setup of. I mean, I didn't never watch, but like the Riverdale show.
Yeah,
it was like, let's take this property that everyone kind of knows for being like hokey, and it's like, oh shucks, I gotta ask Betty to the prom or whatever, but Veronica wants. But let's completely take that premise and Twin Peaks that shit. Let's make like, from what I understand, it's just bonkers out there, like crazy horror mystery stuff, and like. You know, whether it was good quality or not, but like people followed that show for a long time.
It.
Yeah, it was successful.
Oh, yeah.
And
do a thing. Just do it well. That's all I ask.
Speaking of video games, I don't know, Max, were you a big NCAA football fan? I saw they announced it's coming out this year.
I always preferred the NCAA games to the Madden games.
Me too.
I just think they were done better. I feel like the controls were always a lot better, and then like I'd always rather. Like I'm an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, so I could that's my hometown. I always like to, like that got me more into the games, and especially with NCAA 14, where you could like make your own colleges. So I had like all over the nation, I had Star Wars themed colleges, and then
the dark side is the right side.
Yeah, so it was cool. So NCAA 14 is probably my favorite football game of all time, just because I could go crazy with it. But that was the last one that they made. So 10 years later, like they're making a new one. We'll see how it goes. I'm not super excited about it. Because it's like they're gonna have all the players' names on there. Like it's actually where I'm like, I don't like that.
You want to customize?
But I'm down for all the players getting paid. They're obviously they were using these people to make the models for the for the game. Sure. Obviously I'm like I'm not sad about them getting their money, but like I don't need all the names on the backs. Like I don't really even care about that. But yeah, like hey, I'd rather NCAA than Madden, but I would also rather that they only make one football game for like every 5 to 7 years. And you just get updated rosters. Like, I don't think that you should have to pay $60 every year for a game that they're putting out every year, where it doesn't actually change except for every like 5 to 7 years. Because if you just pay, like, even if it was $20 for the new, like, get all the new recruits and you get all the new, like you're using the system, because like Grand Theft Auto 5, right? Yeah. Like 15 years on the same platform.
Right.
Like this can be done. And like I don't understand. Like you're not introducing anything new with the new games, so why should it pay $60?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Do these games, because I've never actually like played much of like say Madden or stuff like that on the regular. I used to when I was like in college every once in a while jump in on a game, but do they ever let you like go back and play historical teams? Like they do. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I was about to say, like, good incentive would be, like, do that, but I guess they already do. Like, I would love to recreate Theismann's tackle.
Oh, God.
As much as I hate watching that, because I saw the video again, like, a couple weeks ago, and I'm like,
It's so awful.
It's so bad.
That would be cool to have, like, a Mortal Kombat, like, fatality kind of thing.
Like, the X-ray?
So, go to the X-ray vision, legs snapping the absolute wrong way. Like, I'm down for that. I'm down for it. And, like if they do like an NFL blitz or an NCAA blitz where let's get to the X-ray mode where like we're doing like bone crushing hits here. Let Ray Lewis loose on some dudes and see what happens.
It was wild. You said the people the night before, so they're tired for the game.
Yeah,
they're doing steroids in the locker. Like, oh my god!
Digitally recreate some of the worst experiences in real people's lives.
Wild.
Yes, I'm for it.
Your star athlete gets drunk and like is in a ditch the day before the game.
Let's do the GTA NFL game. Like I mean, I know like that's why what was that show that was out?
Blue Mountain State.
No, not Blue Mountain State. Because that was college, but like it was like a pro
the
football.
League.
Was it the league?
Well,
the NFL stopped it.
That was about fantasy.
Okay.
No. I think there was a league before the league where the comedy fantasy football show. But like, I don't know what it was called, but like it was wild. Like players with hookers and doing cocaine right before the game and all this.
I mean, that's also Any Given Sunday by Oliver Stone.
Yeah. But like the NFL like put a stop to this show because they're like, we can't have people thinking that this stuff.
This is stuff that actually goes on, even though it's totally what goes on.
100% what happens. But yeah, but I'm down for a gritty like shit universe NFL where it's just like
there you go. See, there's a fresh idea based on a concept. Give us the really gritty, nitty, down to earth, real type of football experience where.
Yeah, because I mean, like you do coaching mode, you do owner mode. Like why not do everything's going wild?
What I need is like a single player football game experience, which is basically the movie The Replacements, where you get like Keanu Reeves as your quarterback, Jon Favreau as a psychotic like linebacker.
Oh my god!
Go get with the ball.
Go sit down, Danny.
I think it was Playmakers. I think that was the TV show.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
There's a whole article about how the NFL got it canceled.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, I just want to pose this to any listening audience out there because this is something I posited on my personal account. Was like I was rewatching Point Break, and I was like, okay, so Johnny Utah played for Ohio State. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
And then I was like, in The Replacements, he plays a quarterback named Shane Falco, who also played for Ohio State.
Yeah, go Bucks.
And I'm like, question to the audience, because I'm too lazy to research this in my free time. Does Keanu Reeves play any other football Ohio State people?
Just those two.
Just those two?
Yeah,
man,
just those two.
Come on. Don't let me down. He does a bunch of like inspirational sports movies. Got to tell me his background character played for Ohio State.
I don't know. Like I'm wondering if he's like.
It's weird that there's two of those in his filmography.
Yeah. Like I wonder if he like just likes Ohio State or like there's no way it just worked out that
He's Canadian too.
Right? Yeah,
I'm wondering if he made it like as a callback to the other movie, like, whichever movie was first.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if the producers like, yeah, Keanu Reeves in a football movie. What team did he? I'm sure the producers knew a lot about football when they made the replacements.
Easter egg.
Yeah,
but like the funny thing about the replacements is like that almost like actually happened this year with Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
like they call this dude up off of his couch and then he comes and like sets the NFL on fire. Like it was like it sucks that like the dream ended. But
there's another feature you should put into more recent like football video games is like let us play fictional football. Let's have Shane Falco or Johnny Utah as your quarterback. Let's get Laces Out dude from Ace Ventura. He's not going to be your kicker.
Oh my god!
And like Pat McAfee is the announcer.
Oh, I'm down. I'm 100% down. I'm down for fictional football. Like,
the whole Longest Yard crew is going to be in there.
The whole Longest Yard crew.
Pick which version.
Adam Sandler. Yeah, like you can play Adam Sandler or
the Waterboy linebacker. Yeah. Oh my god. It'd be incredible.
I'm for this. I am 100% for this.
Well, friends, anything else you guys want to call out? Any hot button things you watched or listened to? Any media you were enjoying? If not, we're about to wrap this thing up, I think.
Maniac Minute. I am really enjoying. Oh God, what's it called? Solo Leveling. It like the story is just like not really there. It's the same story. It's an isekai. It's like a man who woke up in a world and could do amazing things. Like he didn't leave his world, but like it's still the same story. Like it's like, hey, I just woke up and all of a sudden I'm super awesome. But like the art is so good. I'm really down for it. I'm really enjoying that one. And also, like weirdly, I'm enjoying season 2 of the like offbeat Harry Potter anime. It's called Mashley or Mashal. It's like
is it in the universe of Harry Potter?
No.
It's just Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah. It's like the magic school, but like this kid cannot do magic at all. But like he's got to become the king of the magic school somehow. So it's like this, and he's a complete idiot. But it's really funny, and I'm really enjoying season 2 of that.
Sweet.
So we mentioned it earlier. I did watch the first part of the Masters of the Universe Revolution. It's called this season. It was Revelation for that first season. Revolution. They dropped the first 5 episodes, I think, last week. And I think it's pretty good. Like I enjoyed the first season for what it was. I agree, Max. There were some issues just in terms of pacing. It felt kind of really slow to get its vibe going.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have that problem in this first set of episodes. Like it kind of hits the ground running fast. First episode sent me into like an existential crisis because it gets real. At a certain point, it gets momentarily real, and I'm just like, "Oh man, we're all gonna die."
This is the Herald of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, Herald of the Apocalypse. But I enjoyed these first 5 episodes for what they were. I think they're kind of like mishmashing some ideas from previous Masters of the Universe He-Man stuff, not just like the original cartoon, but like the one that came out in the 2000s. There's some stuff they're working in there. I think I can't really recall. And they might be tying in with another property that is He-Man adjacent the way things are shaping up. But I don't know how that works because these 2 properties have different rights holders. So I don't know if they're going to go full, the other
like character. Lisa Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go full with the other idea or not, or if it'll be like, it's this character is this character, but not quite this character.
Yeah, it's like he spells his name with a Y.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I have one video game that I've been playing a crap ton of this week.
Oh crap! Sorry. Yes, go ahead. I went after you. I'm sorry.
Right. Anno 1800. It is like a base building world builder where you have to try to keep your civilization alive, but it's based like in the 1800s. So it's right on like the start of the Industrial Revolution. So you're like building bases and trying to make sure your island's staying alive while you're fighting pirates, which is super fun, and trying to fight other AI people. It's mainly a single player game, but it's a lot of fun. I have like 40 hours deep into it, and I still suck. So there's a lot to learn, but it's really fun. I encourage folks to check it out if they're a fan of base building things.
I'm all for killing AI.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I jumped on the Pal World hype train, and it is a glorious ride. It is super glitchy. Like, it's obviously the beta version. Like, it's blatantly obvious it's the beta version, but it's so awfully fun. It's so good. Like me and the wife, like we were both playing, and it's just like we get sucked into it. It was freaking midnight last night, and we were like, "Oh my god, we have to stop playing!"
So it's like a fun glitchy, like, "Hey, I phased into a wall, but man, check this out."
Yeah, it's like I'm going to have to reload again, but I'm definitely loading it up again. Like, so you're like, it's Pokemon, but you're like, you can get guns, you can shoot them, you can beat them, you have to enslave them, you make them work. Speaking of base building, like, you build your base and you put your freaking Pokemon to work in it. It's awful. It's so awful.
Taking away the wrong lessons from this.
But I'm just like, I also heard that the person who made there, like, well, why did you add all this slavery stuff? And he's like, well, I wanted to sell it in America.
Oh boy!
Shots fired, Japan.
Oh man! I mean,
and it worked.
I mean,
I'm not sure that's why it worked, but
truths are being laid out, but wow,
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Because I mean, like I've been screaming for like a gritty Pokemon game where it's like the fighting is underground fighting, because people shouldn't obviously battle these animals against each other. Like, that's not cool. But like in Pokemon, everyone's like, "Oh, it's so wonderful. We treat our Pokemon so well." Like, no, you make them fight each other, bro.
You potentially murder them on any given day.
Yeah,
it's like
it's okay. No, they just fainted.
It's not really a great concept to begin with. Like,
right. So yeah, they take away all pretense on this. Like, it is the naked truth.
Okay.
So wait, does your creature die then? Like, is it gone forever?
No, like like
you can regenerate.
It doesn't die. Like, that would be dope.
I mean, that's the next evolution of that game, right? Like,
maybe there's a hard mode you can play. Like, we're playing it on like easy mode. Like, we're just trying to like bang around and have fun. But like, it's hilarious. And then like, you're trying to catch a Pokemon, and like your guy's like, fire attack, and just kills it. Right. Like, you're like, no.
I worked so hard on that. I made him slave away to work so hard on that.
Yes. You don't know how many man hours of work went into this. No, it's a lot of fun though.
So like, is the slogan "Gotta enslave them all" instead of "Gotta catch them all"?
Not, it should be.
I mean,
now they like doing the work. Ask any one of them. They can't say. All they say is their own name.
Or they get the machete.
I am a good slave master. Okay, I feed all of my slaves. I built a spa for them. Okay, it's fine. Like, they love it.
There won't be a revolt anytime soon. Or anything like that.
No.
That would be the greatest second game is the creatures revolting, and now you play as a creature.
No, not even second. Not even second game. Like, you start from your last save spot, and all of a sudden, like, all of them are in like your chamber, like staring daggers at you. Like, time is now.
Holding a machete.
Pulled down, like you're stuck in your bed. Like.
Oh shit! They unionized.
Yes. Power World 1.5.
Speaking of video game stuff, Kill the Justice League. Did you guys hear about like the bug that happened with it?
No. Whatever.
I guess it had early access or whatever, and the hype has been up and down all over the place about this Suicide Squad game. I guess the early access, like you went into it and it's like story completed. So that was like a huge bug upon the initial like pre-release. Was like, game's done.
We did it.
We did it.
Oh my goodness!
Great rollout.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm like, I wish they would just finish the game. Like I don't know what you need to do to like, because like obviously, it takes so much to make these games, and I understand that it's like a lot of people working very, very hard. But like, you can't make all the promises and then not deliver. I'm really, really sick of them. It's oh god, what was that space one? No Man's Sky. Cyberpunk 2029 or whatever.
And Star Citizen, right? Star Citizen's one that's been around for forever.
There's so many games where it's like, okay, like, well, hey, we can't put it out, or we're gonna put it out. Where hey, the game's gonna come out, it's gonna do all these things, and then like they eventually get there, but it's 6 years later, and I already paid the $60 and gave up on the game.
Yeah. But also, I feel that's a case too. If it's like, okay, yeah, they made a lot of promises, but you had an idea of what the concept was, and you were on board for the concept to begin with. Again, it's coming back to this idea of concept. Whereas I think the whole deal with the Suicide Squad game was sort of like, okay, we're going to take it set in the Arkham universe, this universe that you've consistently bought and loved for years now. We're going to bring back Kevin Conroy, and it's his final turn as Batman in this, which is kind of depressing because it's in the title. But then they're like, oh, the loot system. You guys love that, right?
Yeah.
Premium skins, you got to pay some in-universe currency, like you guys like that.
You know what everyone loves? Microtransactions.
Yeah, microtransactions. You guys like that, right? I'm like, no.
Please no.
Nope. You guys are learning the wrong lessons. This goes back to learning the wrong lessons.
I will say, No Man's Sky has really redeemed itself. Now, I stopped playing it because of what you said. Like, it took forever for them to get to where they should have been. But they have really redeemed themselves. So
okay, and like that's fine, but I'm just like don't.
Yeah.
They release and hey, like if they're like, we need a cash infusion to finish this game. Hey, here's the not finished game.
Yeah, be clear.
You can pay to play the not finished game, and then like maybe pay half right now, and then pay a little bit more when the full thing comes out. We need the money. I would don't promise what you can't deliver.
Oh yeah,
totally. I mean, it might have been just like bit off more than they chew, but also that is very much like a whole. You'll come back and pay for the rest of this.
But like they already got Justin's money. Like good thing that they finished the game. But and 6 years later, he can go back and play it.
But they could have more of Justin's money. Is the thing.
Yeah, so that's why we do the microtransactions.
Yeah. But why stop there? Why not just give you the rest of the game? But not give it to you.
Yeah, no. We'll charge you another $60. Like,
there's a paywall here somewhere.
Hey,
we'll find it.
We'll figure it out.
Give me your left arm.
Give me great beyond.
Give it to me now. I need left arms are going to be the new currency. Currency is going to be based on left arms, so I need yours.
Kind of need that for my button or for my D-pad though.
Yeah. We've developed a new controller for
it's like Snowpiercer. You put the arm in that one airlock.
Now I watched a video of a man, totally tangent. I watched a man drift a car with just his feet because he didn't have any arms today. Incredible. He did great. So we can figure it out. But like we can figure it out.
It is possible to play games with your feet. So let's go.
Amazing.
Let's go. All right, guys. I think
we covered everything.
Yeah, we did it.
It's a long one too.
Yeah. We did it. I know. I had a great time. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it.
Yes.
See you, everybody.
Recycle your droids.